Hello Reds, welcome along to All for United.
Yes, you absolute psychopaths. Welcome back to All for United. This is All for United Uncut. Pre-warning, we don't know what my internet's like. I might cut out at any point, so be aware, be ready. You all know how it goes in All for United Uncut. Before we get into the topic, what are we all having to drink?
Oh, well.
Just water, I'm afraid.
I've got water as well. Buxton.
2 waters.
No, I'm on a diet, lad. I'm on a diet. I'm trying my best.
Wine tonight, boys.
What the fuck is that glass?
Why?
It's a, I don't know, some wine glasses the missus bought. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Right,
Anyway.
so Stu's come dressed as a Tory, right? Okay, Callum.
I've not even got a drink. I'm in work at like 8 a.m. So
for
nothing.
Fuck's sake.
A nice
Right, before we get into any kind of structured show, can we talk about Callum's video earlier?
video?
Jesus, yeah.
What video? Have you not seen it?
No. What video?
I've not seen it either. I've been in the cinema all day.
Right, hang on. I'm going to download it and I'll bring it up on stream later.
I was going to tell you about it.
What, the one where I ran round the pub? Gaz put it up. I'm surprised you haven't all seen it.
Yeah. Right, I'll download it and I will put it up for everyone to watch on stream. Oh, can I share my screen? I might do that. Right, anyway, before we get into it, all the comments, let us know what you're having. How are you all doing today? 60 odd people watching. Love to see it. Loads of you on Twitter. Make sure you head over to youtube.com/All for United. I've not lagged out yet, so I'm pretty impressed with how far I'm going so far. Bainesy's in the comments. Hello, Bainesy. Jacob's on a herbal tea. Interesting. Seems very serene for this show.
Imagine that herbal tea.
Herbal tea. Right, anyway, let's get into the topic then. Luke Shaw with another masterclass, this time in Jose's backyard. We'd love to see it. First of all, Cal, we've got a message for you, mate. Get that back waxed.
I'm assuming this is on the video, is it?
Yes, it is. I will bring it up. Don't worry. I'm just trying to get a discussion going, and then I'll download it. So Luke Shaw, another fantastic performance. Now it's starting to go outside of the United fan base, and everyone's starting to see Luke Shaw as the best left back in the world. We knew it earlier. Now the world's starting to see it. But what I want to specifically go into is sort of what made him turn into that. But before that, let's just talk about the comeback itself. Benny, what a comeback it is from Luke Shaw, considering where he was, because that kind of injury as well, it's a big thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. And also, I remember, and I think I spoke about it a few months back about Luke Shaw on one of the shows. I remember going to watch an under-23s game a few years back. Ash Young was coming back from an injury at the same point as well. And Ashley Young was miles and miles ahead of where Luke Shaw was. Luke Shaw looked like he didn't want it, he didn't want to be there. And I thought to myself, I sat there and I was thinking to myself, this is probably the end of Luke Shaw for me. He just doesn't look hungry for it. Now, fast forward to now, wow, what a transformation, mate. You know, I've been arguing all day with my mate, who's a Tottenham fan, bless him, but, you know, on Facebook, because he's adamant that Luke Shaw's not the best left back in Europe, never mind the world. He's listed all his left backs to me, and I'm like, no, my friend. Luke Shaw, trust me, of how he's performed for Manchester United this season and how he's performing in the Euros, I can't think of anyone better, even though he gave me a nice, lovely list. And then it's so good to see, mate. It's so good to see him come back, mate. That leg break was a horrific leg break. You know, it was that bad he could have had his leg amputated. You know, that just puts it in perspective for me. You know what I mean? It was that serious. But listen, it took a while for him to come back. But and managers I don't think have helped in the past. I don't think Louis van Gaal was the right manager for him. And I don't think Jose Mourinho was the right manager for him, because they're not really managers to sort of put their arms around him and tell him what he wants to hear. Basically, whereas Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is that sort of man, and Gareth Southgate is that sort of man. to do that, to make you feel loved, to make you feel part of the team. And I think it's a lot of credit's got to go down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. And I put a tweet out yesterday saying that exact thing, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves a lot of credit with what's happening with Luke Shaw at the minute in his turn of form. But you have to give massive credit to Luke Shaw as well, because you know, he's had that determination to come back. He's had that absolute willingness to come and fight for his place, because he knew at the start of the season with Alex Tellers coming in at United, he had to fight for his place. He had to up levels in his game, and I never knew until this season how good Luke Shaw's crossing ability is. By the way, you know what I mean. I think we saw glimpses of it in when he was linking up with Memphis very well. I think in his early days at United before the pre-leg break. But hasn't his crossing and passing come on leaps and bounds this season? And I don't know whether that's down to Alex Tellers as well. It might be because he's working with Alex Tellers as well on the training field. Alex might be giving him a few hints and tips as well. But mate, I can't speak highly enough for Luke Shaw. You know, he's really impressed me. And I said deservedly so. I know Bruno, for everybody votes for Bruno, and Bruno's been absolutely phenomenal for Man United as well. But I said Luke Shaw for me was by heads and shoulders our best player last season. You know, from somebody that's come from where he's come from. You know, with his confidence, with his seemingly his career in tatters at the start of this last season, where Alex Tellers coming in, everybody thought this could be the end for Luke Shaw. You know, we've got Alex Tellers in here. This guy can attack. This guy can cross. This guy can take a free kick. But credit to Luke Shaw for battling. And Stuart was on about it earlier on when we did the Pride of All Europe podcast. Stuart was on about people fighting to win and fighting for the shirt and fighting to want to stay in a competition and fighting for their place in the team. And that's what Luke Shaw's done. Luke Shaw's done that. From the moment Alex Tellers walked in that door, Luke Shaw got his head down for the some pre-season. Well, we didn't even have a pre-season, didn't really. Whatever little rest time that he had, he put his head down, he worked hard, he got himself fitter than he's ever been for a long time, and he's just took to it like a rocket, mate, you know, this season. Yeah, he's had a couple of patch performances, but what player hasn't this season in terms of United? But, mate, I can't speak highly enough of him. I better let someone else speak now.
No, some great words there from Kratos. Thank you. So I'm glad someone laughed at it. Anyway, no, honestly, he's spot on, especially with the whole Alex Tellers thing, because I was one of them. I said, you know, as soon as we signed Tellers, you'll see old tweets of mine saying, oh, well, this is going to be Luke Shaw done, because at the time I didn't think Shaw was good enough. And clearly I was a lot like a lot of other people that probably didn't believe in him as much as he should. And Stuart, is that something we're discovering now that, well, I alluded to it when we were promoting the show. I said Southgate's got a similar kind of thing to Ollie, where he shows faith in players that perhaps we probably rule out maybe too soon. For example, Raheem Sterling, who's gone on to score key goals for England in the Euros. And Ollie's done the same with Luke Shaw. He's done it with players like Fred, McTominay, who have played a part, even though maybe not consistently. So is this maybe two managers? Are we seeing two managers almost take it back to basics with management?
Yeah, in a way. We spoke about this earlier on as well, didn't we, Benny? But look, a manager will play a very small part in the development of a player. There's a lot goes on about coaching and man management, etc. But if a player himself isn't willing to pull his finger out of his arse and get on with it, then a manager and a coach can just, you know, it's a waste of time, really. And with regards to the likes of Luke Shaw, you know, with his leg break, because it came so early in his career, he had two choices. He could fall off a cliff, or he could try and resurrect his career. And when you suffer an injury of that nature, it takes a long, long time to get your fitness levels and your sharpness. It takes years. And unfortunately, it proved to be that with Luke Shaw. And I think there's a lack of understanding on our fan base about that, because our fan base will say, oh, you know, he's not up to speed, blah, blah, blah. Well, none of them would have suffered that type of injury. And none of them, you know, most of our fans would never have been lying in a hospital bed and the doctor saying, well, look, mate, I might have to take your leg just before the knee. None of us have experienced that. And so, you talk about physical scars, you've got a lot of mental scars to get out of it. And this is where the top players, the real top players who understand what it takes to be a top player, rise. I'm not going to use the analogy of cream rises to the top because I don't particularly like it. But in the professional game, without determination and sacrificing a hell of a lot to get where you want to achieve eventually, you'll never do it. And so Luke Shaw had that tipping point. And fair play to Luke Shaw, he decided that he was going to go on and come back a better player than I think what he was when he was at Southampton and when he first came to us. The thing about Luke Shaw is now he's actually playing with a maturity, and you can only develop that yourself. Again, that can't be developed by a coach. You can only develop that about yourself. And if you don't, and again, me and Benny spoke about this earlier, if you don't take a long, hard look at yourself, take a long, hard look at your game, take a long, hard look at weaknesses in your game, and crossing's a great analogy there. Then you'll never improve as a footballer. So I think Luke Shaw's gone away, and he's thought to himself, I've got to start working a bit harder. Not so sure he perhaps had that. When he came back after the injury, I'm not so sure he had that real impetus to do that, and suddenly the light bulb moment switch. So look, as much as managers have an effect on it, and you're right, Karthik, that Ollie and Gareth Southgate are very, very similar in their personalities. And I made a point that people get dogs to suit their personality, they get cars to suit their personality. You watch any football team, they play with a manager's personality. And England play a very methodical game because Gareth Southgate is very methodical. He's very intelligent as a human being. He comes across as a very intelligent person. Ollie's not as fiery in his temperament as Sir Alex Ferguson, so we play with a similar tempo to England. And when Alex Ferguson's managers, we play with this fire in our bellies every day because that's what Alex Ferguson was. He demanded that. So I kind of think, in a way, coming back to your original point, Gareth, I think Luke Shaw does kind of suit Ollie's style of play better and Southgate's style of play better. But it's a very small percentage. You've got to give everything to the way that Luke Shaw has picked himself up, dusted himself down, and become, I think, personally, the best left-back in European football at this point in time.
He's probably the best left-back in association football. Connor, I've just called you Connor. That's what have I done? That's well weird. I've really rattled myself with that. Anyway, no, Stu's made the point there that it's not always like the manager can't have a huge influence, and sometimes you just have to say the player has done this and that. But do we also have to give Ollie some credit as well? Because I think people are taking the man management thing. There's two extremes. Either you go in, Ollie can't do anything, or all he does is man management. But I think there's a middle ground there that he's done with Luke Shaw, because we've changed his game a little bit more as well, haven't we?
Yeah, and ultimately, no one's happier than me to be proved wrong, because I think I was with you, Karthik. I was very much like, as soon as Tellers comes in, I've brought up one of my older tweets because something I put out. This was the second game of the season, saying I'm going to put myself on blast because I'm happy to admit I'm wrong, saying Shaw has cost us multiple goals and offers nothing going forward. Doesn't overlap the players. The sooner we get Tellers in, the better this squad will become. So you could see I was well past the mark on that one. But I think I'm glad Stu mentioned about and Benny actually about the work that Luke Shaw's done, because self-motivation in sport is a big thing. You can have everyone telling you that to work on this, but unless you have the willpower to do it, you'll never succeed in that. So, yes, I think your original question about Ollie's man management of him, 100%. The way Mourinho destroyed his I mean, even now, Mourinho's still talking about him, which is ridiculous.
And the way he's responded tells you how much he's matured as well.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So, and the fact that we forget as well sometimes, footballers will see what is said about them online, and we'll see the reaction of fans most of the time. So the fact that Shaw probably saw all that at the early part of the season, took it on. Ollie probably, like you said, took him aside and said, look, you're going to be starting this season. You know, we brought in Tellers. I'm sure that conversation was had between Ollie and Luke Shaw, that Shaw was still going to be the starting left back, providing performances. So, yeah, Ollie has to take massive credit for believing in him when I'd say majority of the fan base wrote him off when we signed Tellers. So, yeah, massive credit to Ollie and for Southgate for having the belief. Because, like I said, Luke Shaw's start of the season wasn't great. He didn't set the world alight when the start of the last season. So, the fact that Ollie still had that belief in him, clearly saw something off in the training ground to keep pushing him in the team. And like we just said, we saw how vital he was to us this season in the way that he played. He's overlapping more. He's got a good link up with Rashford on that side. And like Benny said, his crossing this season's been unbelievable. If only we had...
Well, he's become our set piece taker, so that tells you.
Yeah, exactly. If we had... or if we had more clinical finishing at times, Luke Shaw could be on double digits in assists in the Premier League last season.
No, very, very good points. And when you mentioned the two managers, Carl, I want to kind of ask you like a more vague question, because I think it really brings into an interesting discussion when you consider the two managers and how they've gone about dealing with these players. So, for example, Southgate with Sterling, Ollie with Luke Shaw. That's the easiest comparison I can make. So a lot of managers probably wouldn't have given these players that much time. So do you think that maybe, it might not necessarily happen, but do you think maybe that seeing these results, it might influence other managers to sort of look at their squads a little bit differently and go, well, actually, if I give this player this kind of attention and maybe give him this amount of time, I could get something different out of him? Or do you think that's just something that comes to certain managers?
Yeah, I think it's more certain managers. Look, man management is different for different managers across the game. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has obviously proved right that he's a brilliant man manager, and throughout this tournament, so Southgate. Obviously, we've got the likes of Jose Mourinho, who's a lot of players have had either a love relationship or a hate relationship with. So I don't think it's necessarily a new thing that's going to now come into football, looking at managers, how they react and how they relate with players. I think it's down to that particular manager. Obviously, Ferguson had a great aspects with that. You only got to look at the likes of Cantona and the relationship he had with him in comparison to someone like a Lee Sharp. So I don't think it's new. I think that with Luke Shaw at the moment, and over the past probably 12 to 18 months, he's producing consistently, but he's also responding to having a manager's trust. Obviously, he didn't have that with Mourinho. Maybe, and he definitely did with Van Gaal, I think. I know there was a story that Van Gaal visited Shaw in the hospital after the leg break and said, don't worry, the left back position, Jaws. So I think it was more a case of the decline was quite clear to see when Mourinho came into the club, which was quite unfortunate, really, because I don't think the ability of Shaw, I think we all saw when he was at Southampton. We were all very excited when we signed, and I like you, Kath, it was very sceptical over the past 2-3 years about his ability, and I thought maybe his time was probably done at United, especially with the likes of Tellers coming in. I didn't think he was sort to be brought in as competition, more as a replacement. So it's a huge credit to the mental capacity of Luke Shaw, how he has, gained such form, gained such confidence, and came back from such a horrific injury. And I think that's kind of the credit he needs most for, not his performances, but the sheer strength that he's shown to show that he is and had always had the potential and is now fulfilling that potential to be the best left back in the world, or one of them. He's been probably a shout for player of the tournament throughout the Euros. Like Connor said, he could have a lot more assists last year in the Premier League, and arguably should have had a lot more assists throughout the Euros. He's been brilliant and definitely a shout for what last season's Player of the Year. I know he did win one of them, didn't he? Did he win the Players' Player of the Year or the fans? I can't remember.
Yeah, Players' Player.
But there was the argument that he could have swept the board with that one. So he was. It's like Connor said. Ultimately, every single Man United player that we scrutinise, that we say isn't very good, that we just in general might not like for whatever particular reason, every single time we do that, ultimately we as fans want to be wrong. We never want to be right about that, because if they prove us wrong and we've said they were bad and they come out good, well, that's a benefit for both the team, the club and the fans. So we never want to be right. We never want, like, a particular player I can't be doing with at the minute is Pereira. But for God's sake, in 2 years' time, and I'm very confident this won't happen, but if in 2 years' time he came out and was absolutely amazing, then we'd all be very happy about that. We'd all very, very happily go, well, we were wrong, weren't we? So I think that's what some people need to remember. Yes, we were very wrong about Luke Shaw, and it's huge credit to him that he's come out and proven what an asset and what a player he is for both Man United and England.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point. I think everyone needs to remember that when we criticise a player, it's because we want them to improve. We know that they are capable of better. Otherwise, Manchester United Football Club don't employ you. They're as simple as that. So I think people need to take away all this, allegiances to certain players and think of it as an agenda. We're looking at it from a team perspective, and that's why, we want certain players out. But Benny, I do want to go back to the managers thing, because Callum mentioned that, Luke Shaw benefited from patience, from, of course, mental strength is another thing altogether. Luke Shaw will have some story to tell when he's finished his career. He'll probably write a book and it'll be a really good read. But that patience, that level of support, it's not there at every club. And who knows how many players that are out of form at the minute are suffering because of a lack of that. So do you think that's a problem in modern day management, that isn't allowed, perhaps because managers themselves don't have that much time? Do you think that's a problem, fundamental problem in the game?
I think so as well. If you have a bad injury or something, and you haven't got a coach that's understanding, or you don't have a coach that's willing to put the arm around you and give you bits of voices of confidence, and and you're right as well. Managers don't have times either anymore. It's all a results business these days. So sometimes you do think, do we really give a fuck about the mental state of some of our players? People might. It's easy for people to go, "Oh, they are millions, they're millionaires, the sports stars, should be able to handle it and everything." But these are people that have never been through a serious injury in their life. I just hope that the club may employ somebody to come in and speak to players that have long-term injuries that maybe they think are struggling a little bit, with confidence and with a belief to get back to where they once were, or if they're struggling with their rehabilitation, whatever it may be. I'm just hoping a club somewhere, I'm sure United do it anyway, do employ somebody or have some sort of professional that comes in and works alongside players with long-term injuries, just to make sure they're on the right track and just to make sure they're all right ultimately. Because, listen, you're one bad tackle away from your career completely ending, and do we do enough to look after former footballers, that may, have their problems with mental issues and with the stresses of life away from football? I always go back to the Gaza thing. I think Gaza could have been handled a lot better by the FA, if they'd have given somebody to maybe give him a bit of counselling or something, or whatever it may be, just somebody to be there for him. And I think it would have benefited from a coaching job as well. He loves football. He should have stayed in the football for me. But, that's another discussion for another time. But it's difficult to say because for managers, because every manager is different and every manager has a different time frame, if you know what I mean. Some chairmen are quite patient with managers and they'll be like, yes, we know that we'll give you that X amount of time to get things right, to stamp your own authority on things, to do what you have to do. But ultimately, football's a results business, and at the highest level, teams like United, Chelsea, and in your cities and everything, you'd be winning league titles. You'd be winning as many matches as you can win throughout the whole season. And patience is not being a great virtue to some of these owners. So I think Ollie coming in, and the way Ollie has changed everything back to the way Manchester United should be, like a family unit, a family-run football club. Everybody's a family. We're all in this together, basically. Whereas Jose was more, it's all about him for me. It always was about Jose. And Jose couldn't give a shit if he upset Luke Shaw, or couldn't give a shit if someone had a serious injury. So long as he was always number one. So I'm glad Ollie's come in. Ollie's a fantastic guy, by the way. We see him a lot of times in the women's under 23s, or devs they call them, because his daughter plays for them. such a down-to-earth guy who will speak to everybody. You know, you just ask, how are you, Mr. Solskjaer? He'll have a conversation for 10 minutes with you. We don't know me, but Nat fucking screams the head off at him. Like, Ollie. And it'll take 20 minutes out of his time. Thank you. 20 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes out of his time just to talk to him. And that's the good thing about Ollie. He's a down-to-earth guy. And I think he's been the best thing to happen to Luke Shaw. Him and Gareth Southgate have been the best two managers to happen to Luke Shaw because, listen, he's booming at the minute. And those two, for all the criticism that Ollie and Gareth have, the one thing you can't criticise them for is their man management and the way that they care about the players. Because you had to listen to, as I said earlier on to Stu in our show earlier, you listened to Gareth Southgate last night and he was on about the players that he had to leave out, how he felt sorry for him and how he wants to make sure they're all right and he wants to give them game time. He really does, but he's still, even though they're not getting game time, they're still part of the team. They're still integrally part of this to the England side, you know. And I think what a great guy, you know. I mean, I'm not Gareth Southgate's biggest fan, by the way, but I'm thinking, what a great guy. Just to
you sound like it.
Well, I know. But just to make sure the players are all right. The players that is left out, you know, I feel sorry for them. I speak to them. I make sure that they're all right. You know, I want to give them game time. I really wish I can, but you know, no matter what, they're still part of this team, and that's why they've got such a strong unity. And I just think it's helped Luke Shaw incredibly. And I think Luke Shaw's seen it and has gone, listen, I've got two managers at club and country that really, really 100% behind me. They have the belief in me. And now I've got to go and show them that I believe in myself and I believe, and their belief in me is absolutely 100% warranted. And it's worked wonders. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer definitely needs to take more of a claim into Luke Shaw's uprising because he's been his club manager. He sees him week in, week out. I know Gareth doesn't get him as much, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, mate, trust me. And this is why when people whinge about Ole out and all this lot, they don't understand the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And Ole, I think he's just reminiscent of Sir Alex Ferguson. He knows players. He knows when his players need an arm around him. He knows when the players need a bit of a bollocking. He knows which ones you can really lay into, which ones not that you can't lay into. And I think he's been the fundamental reason why Luke Shaw has had an absolute upturn in his career. And it's a credit to Ole, and it's a big, massive credit to Luke Shaw. And I just hope that continues. And I hope football clubs, no matter what managers they have, even if you haven't got a proper, decent man management, that they've always bring somebody in. If somebody's had a horrific injury or they're not having a good time, they bring someone in that the players could talk to. They feel they could go and talk to somebody because ultimately, I think mental health in football still has a long way to go to fix its problems. But hopefully, we get on the right track by just seeing the example Luke Shaw's setting.
Yeah, just quickly on that, Stu, I think Benny made a really important point there about employing staff. Now, I don't know if this is still the case, but I remember a year ago in one of my uni lectures, we were told that a lot of Premier League clubs don't actually employ sports psychologists, and that to me is a ridiculous fact. Like, that should not be the case at that level of the game. Sports psychologists, at least one per club. It should be more than that, but at least one per club should be employed. How important is that for you towards helping performance?
Look, Benny makes, as usual, top points, but I'll come back to something I spoke about a while ago about how soft the game is right now.
Bloody hell, Stu's about to tell me that, sports psychologists back in my day.
There's posers, aren't there, Stu?
Yeah,
posers crying about in an office.
But the game has gone soft, and I always look at it from my experiences, and I would always worry.
You play football?
But apparently so, yeah. I would always worry when a player came into our group and he was a player that required an arm around him from the gaffer. Because I'd be wanting him, to the side of me. I don't want him to put my fucking arm around him. I need to know he's going to go in there wholeheartedly for a 50-50 challenge, or he's going to run that extra 10%. And I'm just speaking from a personal opinion here. It always worried me when a player required the arm around the shoulder or required a confidence boost, because you're in the game for the wrong reasons. Then these players seem to forget when you go. I said again on Benny's show, when you cross that white line, you go into battle, and you've got to battle for 90 minutes or the period of time that you're on the pitch. But I do tend to agree that in today's game, on the modern element of today's game, that there are players that are, oh, I'm going to have to choose my words carefully here.
Posers.
Well, yeah, they're all posers and that, but maybe need that mental help, through a game. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't, when your back's against the wall, and you've had 25 minutes of constant punishment and you can't get out your 18-yard box, you can't advance up the pitch. You need one or two players to take the game by the scruff of the neck and push you forward. And I always used to worry that if you've got a player that needs some kind of G'ing up, it would always worry me about his influence on the game. And you need a collective group of players that can all have an influence on the game of football. But that's not to take away, because everybody's different. And I accept that everybody's different, and I respect that everybody's different. But I think, these players today, I'm going to say it, actually, I'm going to talk about it. These players today, when there's a certain element of pressure from families for these players to make it big, to become a Premier League footballer, to earn the millions and millions that comes with it and rewards. But then they become posers. They think they're bigger than what they are, and they lose the fundamentals of actually what got you there in the first place. And a great example is Phil Foden. And we spoke about him 2 weeks ago, was bobbing off about his fucking hairstyle, giving it the fucking big un, and all this kind of nonsense. And look where he is right now. Look where he is today. He's not getting a look in for England because he started to believe his own hype. And so in the modern game, sports psychologists are good for a multitude of things. And somebody should be getting Phil, if I was Pep Guardiola, I'll be getting Phil Foden back in the summer. I said, and explaining to him, you've kind of been taught a harsh lesson and the reality and how ruthless football is. And as soon as you start believing your own press, as soon as you start thinking you've made it, your work ethic drops immediately. I don't need to do it anymore because I've already made it. And England as a group with a golden generation, we've been victims of that before. Players who were picked, amassed 100 caps for fucking what? What have you amassed 100 caps for? You haven't won anything, And so that's the trouble with modern day football. And going back to Luke Shaw's a different animal to the likes of Foden, to the likes of Cancelo, and other posers that are in and around the fucking Premier League, because he's a real grinder. Luke Shaw's somebody who will grind.
You use what app? Sorry.
No, not grind any app. Yeah, no, but he's had to claw his way back. And when you look at some of the footballers today, and if they suffered an injury as horrific as Luke Shaw, there's absolutely no way they would make it back to the level that Luke Shaw is now. So I accept your point, Karthik, and I agree that a sports psychologist should be an integral part of. But it's not just about, oh, come on, son, you'll be all right. Don't worry, you've had a bad game. It's the other thing is, hold on, you're not playing hard enough, mate. Look at this tackle here. Why weren't you in there? What was your positional sense wrong? Fucking Slabhead was shouting at you to get you back to pull back 3 yards. And if you pull back the 3 yards, they wouldn't have got the cross in. So it can work on both occasions. It doesn't have to work on one to G a player up because hold on, mate, sort yourself out. And we know there's a load of analytics, there's a load of analyzers and things of that nature. And I just think the real dissection of football, apart from us fans, but the real dissection of football is gone. I don't think it happens anymore. I don't think people are in there fucking screaming at each other because we've given a soft goal away, or we've only won the game 1-0 rather than 5-0 and things of that nature. So for me, the game needs to toughen back up again. It needs to stop all this fucking false 10 bollocks and all these fucking super high placed wing backs.
It's called a false 9, Stu.
False 9, yeah, sorry. I'm on a rant, you see. And actually go back to what football was about. Because actually, football hasn't changed since its invention. There's still 22 players that walk onto that pitch and 22 players, well, 21 depending, who walk back off. So the fundamentals of football haven't changed. It's just everybody's looking at ways to try and get the edge. I'm just not having it, really.
Yeah, the false nine's ruining football. Fuck you.
Well, I'm using that as an example.
The position doesn't exist anyway.
Yeah, I don't like wing backs either. You know,
false 9. The false 9 is what Stu calls Mason Greenwood.
Yeah,
it's not an actual position.
Yeah. I prefer
someone agrees with you.
Fullbacks. So. Someone
agrees with you. Jarvis agrees with you. He says he can't help but agree with you. Old style. He's not an ex-player. No, he's not.
No, definitely not. Cheers, Jarvis.
I do agree with elements of what you said in terms of it doesn't have to be one or the other. It has to be a balance. And I found from my very brief experience coaching that sometimes the people that need an arm around them actually give you the bigger response. But that's just from what I've seen. Different players react different. Obviously, I'm not at that level. Callum's just done one because he knows what's about to come. I've got a very interesting video for you all to see.
Lovely.
We'll wait for him to get back so we can see his embarrassed face. Look, he's even getting some water in. Right, everyone needs to share the video right now, whoever's watching it, because we need to maximise the number of people that are about to watch this. I'm about to tweet it out because this is a fantastic bit of entertainment for you all on the Sunday night. This is what you come to All for United Uncut for. Like the video, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get this video up then. Right, where are we? It is wonderful viewing. Yeah. Your eyes will enjoy it. You'll ask for a second viewing.
Yeah,
right,
without
further ado, yes, courtesy to Gaz, Gaz Drinkwater, Radio Gaz on Twitter.
Radio Gaz, is it?
Yeah.
I was out for a beer with him the other night, and he did this to me. He's a good guy, obviously.
Right, here we go.
Fucking hell, Cal. Did you have oxygen on standby after that?
Yeah. I'd be dead for 30 seconds.
It was a forfeit for a pub quiz, and it wasn't even me that was supposed to do it.
Why did you do it then?
Because my mate that was supposed to do it didn't do it, and I thought, oh, who cares?
Take one for the team.
So I just took one for the team.
Nice, well done.
Everyone knows me in that pub, so.
Go on, you've got to shout out the pub.
Oh, the Nag's Head in Urmston.
Oh, the Nag's Head.
Yeah, up in Urmston. Not the one in town. The Nag's Head in Urmston. Nice little pub. We were doing a pub quiz, and then I took my top off, and then seeing that video made me realise my beer belly has definitely returned. Sorry about that, everybody.
That was wonderful. If we get, hang on a minute, how many likes do we have on YouTube right now? Let's have a look.
I don't know.
We've got 6 likes. Right, we need more than this. Right, get us to about 15 likes, and I'll play the video again. There's loads of you watching this by now. Come on, how many of you are watching? We've got 11 of you on YouTube. Everyone go and like the video. Go on, Stu, what are you saying?
I was just about to say to Jarvis, he just recommended a wine for me, which I do like my wine, old friend.
Go on, let's find the comment. There we go, right.
I will have a look at it. But
Seriti.
Yeah, I'm sampling a 2001 Rioja Reserva at the minute, and it's absolutely stunning. So cheers, John.
I'm just laughing at Callum's reaction. Connor's reaction to it is so fucking funny. He can't help himself.
So what got me was he said he's sampling. He's not sampling. He's sampling.
Connor realised he's on with some kind of sophistication here. That's what he realised.
You're the only one, Stu, that has something different every week without fail.
It is, to be fair, isn't it?
Different.
Yeah, you know what? You bring the standards to this podcast.
What one tries, one does try. gentlemen. Doesn't always pull it off, but one does try.
Cocktail next week.
You are sorry?
It'll be an exotic cocktail next week.
I am making my debut, I believe, on a super channel next week.
You're on the super channel. What are you on about?
No, the super channel. I'm making my debut on Benny and Matt's Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
yeah. So he's going to be the cocktail for that, isn't he?
I was going to say, right. So the other super channel.
The other super channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe, by the way, viewers. Subscribe if you haven't already.
So I think I might pull out the old champagne for that one, old friend.
Champagne. Look at that. Champers.
Yeah, get the Liverpool shirt on and all.
No, that's gone in the bin. That's
No, it's not. You've got it in the back somewhere.
No, it's gone. I was shamed. I felt shamed having to put it on for that split second or however long it was.
Split second? You had it on for like 15 minutes?
Well, that's because you two made me, and I was. Oh, it was horrible.
He's dragged you into it now, Connor.
I showered for 4 days straight. I didn't get out of the shower for 4 days straight. You know what I mean?
That's a bit weird.
Terrible, absolutely awful. It felt horrible. I was scratching it. Oh, horrible. Oh.
What's that shirt you're wearing now, by the way?
Oh, actually, I can't. Oh, this was.
No, the other one that you're wearing. How many shirts are you wearing, Stu?
I forgot what I was
layers on.
Fucking hell, how many glasses have you had?
I've had a few tonight, actually.
He's absolutely off his head, isn't he?
Yeah.
He'll be doing laps around his neighbourhood soon.
This is actually Cal will know this. The old Power League. When I was doing Power League three or 4 years.
Okay, it's another story about him playing football.
Not only football. This is we went 12 games. It was a 12 game league. We went unbeaten. So there you go. That's what this is. A championship.
12 games. Well done, Stu.
Hey, look. It was 5-a-side. Fucking hard work. Cal will tell you that.
It's not being a poser, Stu. It's 5-a-side football. Just get stuck in it.
There's some World Cups on for that, my friend.
No, obviously I turned out with my bright pink boots, Benny, for that one.
Pink boots? Hang on a minute. You've just spent the last 15 minutes talking about the game going soft.
Tell him what we were talking about.
Do you know what, Stu? I can agree with you that 5-a-side's tough, but I found it tough running around that roundabout, to be completely honest. So I'm not the best person to ask at the minute. Get out of summer when I can go to the gym and not have to have a drink every weekend, and then I'll lose the weight, and then I'll do it in half the time. But right now, I can't do anything, to be honest.
Yeah, but then football will come home, and then you're fucked for a month.
It's Copa Mundials, Benny, is what it is.
Copa Mundials, yeah, they're nice as well. Pal.
The only reason I said pink boots, we're on a conversation after the show earlier about stuff, and Benny says, I can't imagine.
That sounds a bit fucking dodgy. What are you talking about?
It was a dodgy conversation, Go
on, then roll about. It's not called Uncut for no reason. What are you talking about?
Well, all really moving forward, Benny should be known as Red Card Benny. That's all I'm going to say.
Why?
Well, I think he used to get sent off every other game, did he, or something like that?
Let's put it this way: the referees of the Lancashire and Manchester FAs used to love me. Yeah. Might as well just book me or sent me off in the car park.
Are you going to say that you're banned from all 5-a-side teams?
No, I'm not actually. No, I'm not playing for it. Well, I do play 5-a-side still, when my ankles allow me. But 11-a-side, I've been retired for a good 4 or 5 years now. But they all the rest know me by name. Don't even have to ask me name when they used to book me or red card me. So just go.
What did you do on a football pitch?
Well,
especially towards the back end of my career, I was a bit slow, you see. And I might have mistimed a couple of tackles. And obviously the referees don't even have to ask me my name. There's another 30 quid for our Christmas buffet. Thank you, Mr. Brazil.
To be fair, if we're talking about the game's gone soft and all that scar there on my head, that one there, that's from being kicked in the head playing football.
Hang on, I can't see the scar. Hang on, let's have a look. Go on.
That one there. Got another one there as well.
When did that happen?
There you go. Oh, years ago, about 10 years ago now.
And it wasn't by me before anyone asked.
Oh no, I went to head the ball and the guy kicked me in the head there.
I've got a scar to show you, lads. If you can see it. I've got to try and.
Hang on. The way he said that, it looked like he's about to put the camera down. I've got a scar to show you, lads.
I've got a scar all the way down here where I break my arm. I was playing. I was playing out in.
Let me guess, football.
Yeah, a game somewhere. Anyway, I was strutting around like a peacock at the time. I was having a masterful game in central midfield.
Peacocks are posers, by the way.
Well, I know I was posing at that particular time, so I was strutting around one night, and I chested the ball down beautifully. It dropped suddenly.
By the way, he put his chest out for that.
Yeah, dropped it off 2 yards, admired the 2-yard pass, as you do. Didn't notice this guy come running in behind me and absolutely clothesline me at the back.
You were about to say pound, yeah.
Basically, well, he did. He fucking pounded me, and I went down.
That is getting clipped up. Clip that up right down. Yes, he did. He fucking pounded me.
I went down as you do, and
there you go. Yeah.
Put my arm down. Got up, absolutely fucking livid. Popped in one. Didn't realise.
Popped in one. Yeah.
Didn't realise I broke my arm. So I played on for about.
Broke your arm? That must have been fucking vigorous.
Well, it fucking was, because this is my wanking arm as well, and that was a problem. I'm joking. Anyway, I didn't realise I'd lost it, and the ref, for whatever reason, the ref let it go for me putting one on him because of the foul. And after about 10 minutes, one of my mates was saying, "Stu, are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" He said, "Well, look at your fucking arm." So what's up with it? I looked at my arm, and I must have been white because my fucking arm from, say, my elbow to there.
Did you see you must have? You must have been white.
Yeah,
you fucking must have been. Because you're a white male.
No, it means like Casper white, like when you're proper white in the face because you're
all the blood around my fucking arm, hadn't it? 3 days in fucking hospital I was with that bastard. 3 fucking days for a broken arm. What's all that about?
Hospital.
I know. What's all that about?
3 days for a broken arm.
The game's gone soft and you have to go to hospital for 3 days for a broken arm.
Poser.
Right.
I bet you went round. How old were you when this happened?
I was in my late 30s, I think. Like 37, maybe.
Not 25 years ago or something then.
Hey, there's no need for that. No need for that.
Hey, we've all established that I was closest to your age.
We're 50, aren't you, Stu?
51.
52.
Yeah.
51.
No, yeah, Gareth was right. Everybody else was nicer to me, including Connor. Because Connor thought I was like 38, something like that. Ben thought I was 38. Everyone was nice to me. And you would have been nice to me as well, Cal, to be fair. Because you're a nice lad. But fucking Karthik got the knife out, fucking started stabbing.
Can't help it, Stu. I'm a realist.
Oh, no. Fucking, honestly, the Karthik.
You're a prick as well.
Don't turn around, Stu. I'll stab you in the fucking front. Forget the back. Anyway, he was right.
Fucking hell. Right, anyway, we've got about 10 minutes to go, so, we could talk for longer than that. I don't really care. England, we're in a semi-final now. What's going on? Are we absolutely losing it? Or, to be fair, no. Does anyone else feel Croatia vibes with this semi-final, with this Denmark one?
Yeah, I think Denmark are not getting the credit that they deserve, and I don't understand why. They're a really good side. So I think again, England are better and should beat them, but we need to just not play the occasion. We need to remember that we're a good side, and just go out and play our game. I just, I hope he plays Grealish, for Christ's sake.
Don't get me started on that, man. No, to be fair, I think he'll probably bring Saka back in, and I don't know why. I don't think you need.
Is he still injured? Is Saka still injured, or is he fit now?
I don't think he's injured.
I think he missed the game the other day more as a precaution. I think he is all right though.
Yeah, I mean, based on the last performance, I'll tell you what, fuck the England team. Sancho played.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people probably would have got a rare look at him because not everyone watches the Bundesliga. I know that. But what did you all make of Jadon?
He plays for Man United now, doesn't he? So that's why he played.
Well, yeah. You know what? I joked on this podcast a couple of weeks ago saying Ollie's probably rung him up and said, "Don't play him until I fucking agreed this deal." And the day after he's agreed a deal, he's starting. So it might genuinely have happened.
I liked him.
But genuinely, what did you think?
I liked him actually, and Cal knows, you know, and Cal is quite happy. You know, I'll eat humble pie on this one. Beginning of the season, I was very, very clear. I wasn't overly impressed with him. And Cal,
do you know what, Stu? My first video was with you. First video I did.
That's right. Yeah,
and I think we did a little bit of a Q&A on transfers. I think it was back in March now, I think it was March. And I said the number one priority and player we should be going for is a right winger and Jadon Sancho. We've not had a national right winger for years. People that were claiming that Greenwood's growth was going to get stunted because of Sancho's signing was just ridiculous, because a lot of people know and are very aware that he's been a centre forward all his career. So it was just a bit silly, I thought. But I said it on my very first video, Jadon Sancho, and I think you said Kimmich, to be fair, which isn't obviously a bad shout.
Yeah, I said Kimmich. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm always right, but it is nice when I am right, because I called it months ago and said that we needed a right winger.
You did. And
I said we needed a right winger more than we needed a centre back.
Yeah, and I was dismissive of Sancho, to be fair. But at that time, if you guys remember, he was having a pretty dodgy start to the season in Germany.
He was a little bit out of form, so you can sort of understand, can't you? But we all knew his capabilities and things.
And that's what I was basing.
If anything, though, I think what we need to look at is he did have a dodgy start to the season, yet still pulled in brilliant numbers for the season.
16 goals, wasn't it?
Yeah. So considering how inconsistent and generally not at his best he was for probably between August to September to maybe Christmas. It was only maybe January he started pulling it out of the bag again, and he still ended the season with 16 goals and however many assists. So. If anything, it's credit to him that he managed to pull himself out of his little rut. So it's great that we seem to have wrapped the deal up now. I think hopefully with France now out, we can go for maybe someone like Varane. I'm still under the cosh that I think the defensive midfield position is probably more important. I think if we were to solidify that base of the midfield, I think the defence as a whole would be better. But obviously some other people don't see it that way, which is fine. I get the need for a centre back. I just don't think it's as important as the defensive midfield slot. But it's their own either or position would be very good, and both need improving. Hopefully we can just get a couple more deals over the line, and we'll see how we go. I don't particularly think we need a new right back for the season. No. I think if Delors was to come back, I think he'd probably do enough of a job. I think really we should be looking at other targets and other positions before we go looking at a right back. But I'm sure Ollie obviously knows what he's doing. And I think it's just a case that hopefully, obviously the Glazers have said that they're going to back us this summer. Obviously we need a lot more than that, but let's just see how it goes. I think we still need to remember it's a Glazer out movement and we need to get rid of them. But let's just hope Ollie does get back this summer and we'll get a few more players in.
Yeah, last night was very exciting for a lot of people to see Sancho. Slabhead, you're going to be his teammate this season. What did you make of it? Because when we think of Sancho, a lot of people just call him a right winger, but he's a little bit more than that. He's a bit more of a free roaming right winger, if we want to call it that, because he's the kind of thing that Stu hates. He's a player that doesn't fit into a certain position, because let's put it this way, he's a very talented player, he's a very direct player, but he's also very versatile. How do you see him fitting into the United team? Because this gives us loads of options, doesn't it?
Yeah, versatile is the exact word for him. There was many times yesterday he was out on the left, sometimes he'd be down the middle, and Mount would go wide, and it's good to see from our point of view as United, because we know obviously Ollie likes to shape it up a bit, and say you get a couple of injuries to out on the left if Martial does stay, say Martial or Rashford get an injury. Obviously we don't know whether Rashford's going to go into surgery and could miss the first half of the season.
Is he fucked?
Well, he should, but that's another discussion. Then Jadon could fill out on the left as well, so it's good to have that many options. Obviously his predominant position is going to be out on the right, but it's good to have that option that he could play all across or out on the left as well, because like I said about Rashford, me personally thinks he should go in for surgery to get it sorted, because otherwise that's just going to drag on and on and on. But yeah, I'm very excited by it. Somebody I can't remember who said it was. My memory's awful today, but considering how poor he started in the Bundesliga last season and the numbers that he
I'll
had.
claim that.
That's
straight left the claim.
unbelievable.
Fucking too right. My goal.
Stop calling Harry Kane soon.
I was just about to say Harry Kane.
The versatility excites me as well, because you can even, if needs be, you could stick him in the 10 as well and just have him free roaming there. Also, can we talk about this fantastic YouTube name? Strawberry Milk is nice. Hello, Strawberry Milk. What's that? He or she says. I can't really tell. Or other. I'm not getting involved in that. Anything else anyone wants to talk about before we wrap up the show? Because I've noticed my internet's starting to lag a bit, and I don't want to push my luck too much.
Well, we're going to talk about your internet and how you haven't you cut out. It's amazing what's going on.
Did you get your laptop fixed?
I've done fuck all. I asked Slamed one question on what to do. I opened one screen and I've not done anything else. I've not done anything else. I didn't click anything. I just looked at a screen. I don't know what's happened. I've not lagged yet.
I think we should see Connor's video again before we go.
Connor's video?
Mine.
Callum's video.
Sorry, Callum's
unless you have a video.
Too much wine.
Connor, I won't share our video. I promise you, mate. Don't worry.
Cheers for
that. Don't you worry.
We'll keep it for backstage.
Stu, that's fucking dodgy. Anyway, right, go on then. We'll end with Cal's video. Here we go. What I've taken from this is that Gaz needs to become a PT. Go! Absolutely love it. Right, everyone, thank you for joining us for All for United Uncut. We have been... Hold
on, Carl. I think you should answer Jarvis's question before he goes. It's only a small question. It won't take long to answer. Sorry, mate. He's good. Jarvis is...
Fucking hell. Right, Jarvis, what the fuck do you want? The fuck do you want, Jarvis? Do you guys think Solskjaer, the coaching staff expert? No, he won't. God, what a waste of time.
I told you, that's what I mean.
What's wrong with you, Stu? That's such a use. Oh, fucking hell. No, sorry. No, hang on. We're All for United. We don't do this, right? We don't do this. Right. Jarvis, great question. Actually, I don't think Phil Jones is going to come back because I don't think he's actually fit, and I don't think anyone wants him to come back, and I do feel sorry for him. But, however... I do think that he might deserve a chance elsewhere, and we might be able to get a fee for him. But also, do you guys think he should be released? Connor, what do you know?
He's due a testimonial. Don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, but no one will turn up, will they? It's so. I almost feel sorry for him.
Joe's testimonial.
I almost feel sorry for him because he's had to say that, and now I kind of want him to have one so we can come out and just go and support him. Stu thinks he's a poser.
No, I don't. I think he's stolen a fucking living out of Old Trafford the last 3
Yeah, so he's a poser.
And well, he is a poser because he drives around in that fucking Lamborghini Urus thing, doesn't he? And that Rolls Royce Cullinan. That's what he drives around in. And he's got the wrong Lamborghini.
Not so Corsa like Stu.
Get a Ford Fiesta, Phil. Fucking hell.
Fucking Lamborghini. Jesus. Fucking hell.
How dare he spend that money?
Yeah. How dare
you? You should work for fucking newspapers. No wonder you're a journalist.
I had to work hard for my Lamborghini. Fucking hell, it took me years to
Oh, fucking hell.
No,
He's in his toy car collection.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I always wanted one of them, to be fair. Right, if Stu are allowed... Oh, Sir Stu, can I end my show now?
Give me a thumbs up.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for All for United Uncut. We have been absolutely honoured to have you in our presence. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel for more content. Everyone like the video, comment below what you thought, share, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter, all that jazz. And, of course, football is coming home, so stay tuned and get absolutely pissed in a bit.